Hi Flosstube, welcome to my channel. My name is Jess, my pronouns are she and her, and I'm Cross Stitch Jess here and over on Instagram. So, excitingly, today is my 50th Flosstube video. I feel like that's come round and I didn't really realise it was coming round. But also, by pure coincidence, yesterday I hit 1,350 subscribers, which I appreciate is a fairly random number, but the 50 and 50 made me happy, so we're doing a giveaway because I can. I'm going to save it for a bit later in the video after the stitching, but yeah, be sure to stick around for that. I'm back earlier than usual. I've kind of gotten into a bit of a end of month update routine without really intending to, and then having other stuff in the middle of the month, but I'm just going to show you, so apologies for seasickness or anything. I've got quite the whip pile. Am I going to be able to get this straight again? Straight, wrong way, straight. Shouldn't have done that. There we go. Anyway, I've got quite the whip pile, and between March Madness, I don't know why I've done this to myself, but March Madness, Whip Go, Flosstube Frenzy, and then also just general stitching, I felt like it was getting too much to wait until the end of the month. So we're here for a mid-month update. We're going to do an update on round one of March Stitching Madness, and I'm just going to show you the projects that have been knocked out. So I started with 12, we've had 8 knocked out, we've got 4 left. So those 4 I'm going to save and show you at the end of the month. March Madness is still ongoing. I've only done round 1 so far, and I'm about to go away for a week, so we're going to have a little pause and then we'll pick up again towards the end of the month. So you'll see those 4 and find out which of the 4 won next time. But yeah, so we've got 8 of those. We've got, I genuinely don't know, somewhere in and amongst those 12 projects I've had 2 new starts, and then I've also had another 2 new starts, one of which I'm kind of obsessed with, I can't put it down. I've done 1 Flosstube Frenzy project and I've started on another. I feel like there's something else in here. One of the March Madness projects was a finish. There's a lot going on. It's been a lot. I am normally, for anyone who's new, I am normally a pick a project that I fancy working on, have it out, and kind of work on that project fairly exclusively for anywhere from 3 or 4 days up to a couple of weeks. And then one day I'll be like, don't fancy this project anymore. That will get packed up and put away. Then I'll get another one out. So I'm used to having 1 project out at a time. At any point in the past 2 weeks, I feel like I've had at least 3, if not more, projects out in one form or another. And I'm quite glad that the March Madness is now going to chill out. We're down to only 4 projects left, and it will hopefully be a little bit less chaotic. Yeah, I'm gonna get straight in because otherwise we're gonna be here forever. So what I'm gonna do is put up my original March Madness bracket so that you can see. I'm gonna talk through them from top to bottom, and for each bracket, like I said, there's 3 projects in the bracket, and I'm gonna show you the 2 that didn't win and therefore aren't continuing. If you want to see the nitty-gritty of the before and afters where I remember to take them, go have a look on my Instagram. In my highlights there's a March Madness highlight reel, and that will show you the progress on each project and then the vote. So the first bracket was a new start of Chalet in the Snow, which we're going to fish out. There we go. So we had Chalet in the Snow, we had Twisted Band Sampler, which is an existing project, and we had Light Sampler, which is an Owl Forest. So first things first, here is Chalet in the Snow. So in fact, we put up the vote result. So Light Sampler was the winner for this one. So Chalet in the Snow and Twisted Band Sampler were knocked out. And here is Chalet in the Snow. So this is a gorgeous fabric from Sparklies. It's a one of a kind, because I think it's because it's an unusual cut, because Rachel had a very similar piece This one's opal. I don't know if that will pick up. Rachel had a very similarly coloured piece, but non-opal. So I get the impression it's like a standard colour, but just it's an odd size. It's a very long, skinny piece. But that's fine for this. So this pattern is from Flossabilities. I was very kindly gifted this one by Lauren for Christmas. Lauren being the designer. I've already stitched one in this series, the Cabin in the Woods, and this one is the Chalet in the Snow. I really liked this fabric as like a bit of a sort of Space Nebula kind of vibe. However, I am now questioning my choice because this cabin, like you can see, it's like a triangle structure. It does then have a lot of snow around it, and I'm just not sure that's going to pick up. So I do need to get this back out and at least get some of that white stitching in and see how that's gonna show up, and then use that to decide whether I continue on this fabric or whether I pivot. But I like, when I had the idea for this fabric being used for this project, I was so excited about it. And now I'm having doubts. I did colour complete, so I did the rainbow and God, I'm not doing well at coordination. There's a little tree stump here. I had done them on the other side. Then I realised I'd miscounted this corner of the cabin and I'd done them both in the wrong place, so I had to frog those, unfortunately. But I had colour completed, I think 3 colours. Yeah, because there's 2 browns in here and then the grey across the bottom. So I was really enjoying that. It was nice being able to start off colour completing from the centre. But yeah, it's been knocked out for now, so I don't have the capacity. Like I love some of these projects, I want to keep going on them. I don't have the capacity to carry on going with 12 projects at once. So that one is going to go away for a little while. It might come back out. I don't know. It'll come out when it comes out, and we'll figure out the snow fabric situation then. Right, next we awkwardly have the ones that were back the pile. Oh, avalanche. I'm going to get attacked at some point. Next we have Twisted Band Sampler. So this one is Northern Expressions Needleworks. And for this time I was just working in this band here. I do find I love the specialty stitch sections on this. I do find the cross stitch really slow, because not only is it even weave and on a frame, so I'm having to do the poke and pull method. It's 2 strands, and I find that even more frustrating than the poke and pull method. So this is both. So the cross stitch sections go really slowly. I feel like I worked on this for ages and didn't get a ton of stitches in. This one is part of Flosstube Frenzy. It's assigned to Rachel from Talking Dog Stitchery. So this one will come back out at some point this month, even though it's been knocked out, because I owe it some more stitches for Flosstube Frenzy. Maybe I'll keep that out today actually, just smash through those last. I think I did just over 200 stitches and I needed to do 400, so got about another 200 to go, which I was about to say shouldn't take long. If I do it on the specialty stitches, won't take long at all. If I do it on the cross stitch, will take me all evening. But yeah, I do really love this piece, and you'll see I later on in March Madness I have started the sister piece, which is what's on the full frame. So we'll get to that when we get to it. I forgot to say I'm doing that on a piece of Chromatic Alchemy fabric, and I'm using my own DMC colour conversion to do it in like a pale pastel rainbow. Yeah, I love how it's coming out. I just need to keep it moving slowly. Right, the third one in that bracket is Light Sampler, which, as I said, I'm not going to show you now. I'm going to save that one to show you at the end of the month. So moving on to the next bracket, we have my one finish. So this is Soot Sprite, which is kind of more of an embroidery piece, I guess. This is inspired by a post I saw on Facebook, which is what you'll be seeing in the top corner, because I very much want to give that person credit for the excellent idea. So this is Soot Sprite. So for anyone not familiar, because I've had a number of comments saying, why am I stitching a spider? This is a Soot Sprite. They appear in Studio Ghibli films is where I know them from, but I believe they're kind of a common thing in Japanese sort of mythology, I guess. I don't really know. Please, if you know more, correct me if I'm wrong there. But I personally first came across Soot Sprites in the film Spirited Away, which is a Studio Ghibli film. It's an animated one, but I highly recommend it. I absolutely love it. And basically the little Soot Sprites help the boiler man. They carry coal to the boiler, and then he feeds them these little stars, and they all kind of run around grabbing the stars. So this is my little Soot Sprite. He's grabbed one of the stars and has a bunch of other ones falling, twinkling around him. So it's a bit of a random one, a bit of a silly one, but I really love that they're intentionally a bit wonky. So for things like cutting out the eyes and getting them on, they didn't have to be perfect, they didn't have to be straight, they didn't have to be the same. I love it. I think he's super cute. And you can see I've drawn around. I didn't have the right sized hoop to actually put him in, but I've done another project and framed it in a hoop that's the right size. And because of the way that I do the spiral back, it means I can actually take the outside of the hoop off quite easily to draw around the inside part. So I did that. I temporarily took the outside of the hoop off, placed my existing project on top of this and drew around it so that I could get the stars in the right place, as it were. So I wasn't getting to the bit where I go to frame it, I'm like, I've put one of the stars like where the fabric will go through the hoop. I'm going to Stitch Festival a week today. I didn't realise it was that close, but I'm going to Stitch Fest in a week, so I will probably be taking this piece with me to visit the Siesta Frames stand. I know they usually have a good range of hoop sizes, so I think that's where I bought the last hoop that was this size. So I'm going to take this with me and basically just match up the heat erasable circle that I've drawn to get the right sized hoop and get that one fully finished. And I think he's going to go on my hoop wall by my desk, which is getting overly full. I might need to scout for a new hoop wall space in the house somewhere, because we're running out of space. Cool, so that is Soot Sprite, and obviously because it's finished, that was kind of a veto. It got automatically knocked out. The other two in this bracket, we had Buzz Block Party, which, fish out of the pile and try not to cause an avalanche. We had Buzz Block Party, and then we had Greenhouse of Oddities. Greenhouse of Oddities won this bracket, and again I'll put the vote slide from Instagram up so that you can see. But yeah, Greenhouse won, so that will be carrying on. But Buzz Block Party, this is the top of it, which I'd already done, so this didn't get any new work. And it has a piece of fabric that will go in this middle section to make it a pincushion. This piece of fabric, in fact. And then the bit that I worked on, I finished the very long outline, and then I came in and worked on that way. Started working on that first beehive and those daisies, which it took me a really long time to realise that they were daisies. I put in the stalk and was like, why is this tree trunk green? And then I put in the flower, or I picked the colour on Pattern Keeper on Saga, because I've digitized this one. I found the paper pattern a little bit hard to work from. Picked the colour for what I thought were the leaves on the tree, and was like, why does this tree have a green stalk and white leaves? Like, what a weird tree. It's not a tree, it's a flower. Anyway, I did really enjoy working on this though. I don't think it would take me ages to finish. So I just, at some point, I'm just going to get this out and just blitz through it. It wouldn't take me long at all. Yeah, Buzz Block Party. And I've got all the specialty threads for that one, and the pins. Oh, can I show them? The pins to go in it when it's finished. So yeah, no excuse really. I just need to crack on with that one at some point. It's a nice one as well because it's on Aida, and it's one strand. It's nice easy stitching, even though it's quite dark. It's a nice easy one. Okay, 2 brackets down. So as I said, Greenhouse of Oddities is the one that's progressing in that bracket. Our next trio, again, I'll keep putting the slide back up so you can see. So we had Lakeside Cabin, which was our winner, so that's gone on to the next round. And then we had There Is Room. And okay, I've done these in a really stupid order, so the ones I need are always at the bottom of the pile. Why did I do this? So There Is Room is a proper stitcher design. I bought this one from Rachel. I think she had them as a table gift at Stitch in London, which I didn't go to, but several friends were there and were sharing their starts in various beautiful colour schemes, and I had to. I couldn't not. It would have been rude. So here is my progress. I finished off this motif in the top corner and then came down and did this side border. So I'm stitching this on Gunmetal from Weeks Dye Works. I want to say 32 count. 2/2, and I'm using this gorgeous baby's blanket thread. Oh, too close. The lighting in here is a bit weird today, but it's a lovely pastel rainbow, kind of much like a baby's blanket. It doesn't show up great on camera, it just kind of looks like a mottled white, I think. You can see it a little bit on there, but it looks a lot, the colours look a lot better in person. I do find this one a little bit hard to stitch on, but I did find having this in one of my bigger Nudge hoops. I actually had it upside down because I prefer to be working wherever in a hoop or frame I'm working. I want it to be the bit that's closest to me. I don't really like having to reach past most of the hoop. So I put this in a nudge and then actually worked on it upside down so that this was like the bottom corner closest to me. And that did help. I had to get my light board out, which also helped. So again, I think this is just one of those where now that I found that setup worked for me, I don't think it would take that long. I think there's only a couple of thousand stitches left. If I got down to it, I could finish that in under a week. So at some point, I'm sure this will come out and we'll smash through it and I can have that lovely piece. There's a spot in my hallway where I've put my Cabin in the Woods and my double hoop owl, and I think that's going to become my little gallery wall of some of my favourite projects. But I think this is a perfect one to go there as a bit of a reminder to anyone coming into our house that there is room for them and they are always welcome. Love that. Right, we've got thread stuck to the outside of a project bag. It's always classic. I just had a moment where I thought I hadn't pressed record. Having a day already. What am I getting out of here? Okaea. Okaea isn't even in this bag. Didn't need that bag at all. We're getting there. We'll get there eventually. So I've tucked this in a different project bag because it's coming with me on my trip next week. So even though this got knocked out, it's now close enough to a finish that I think it's just going to happen. So this is Cross Stitch Makes Everything Okaea, and the bit that I added was these purple flowers. But I think more significant than adding them was that I picked a colour. So thank you to anyone who gave their suggestions on my Instagram story. It really helped. I think of all the people that commented, 80% of the suggestions were purples and lilacs. So, and that is what it's originally charted for. Let me fold it. What I've used is this lovely Cottage Garden Threads colour called Amethyst. I'll hold it up on there. So it's this lovely variegated dark to light purple, and I've show up. Basically, The original pattern has 2 stitches of yellow and then a sort of inner circle of like a cream and then an outer circle of purple. I've done the middle 2 stitches, and I've just realised I forgot to do them for that one. But I've done the middle 2 stitches in cream to sort of match the fabric. And then I've not fussy cut per se, I guess I fussy stitched. Fussy cutting, for anyone who's not heard the phrase, is like if you've got a printed piece of fabric, cutting specifically to get a certain part of the design. So when using a thread, if I just wanted this dark purple, I might fussy cut to cut out that section so that I can just stitch in the dark purple. I'm not really cutting the thread, but I'm starting with the dark colour and sort of circling the outside until I get to the light bit of the thread, and then I'm jumping to the middle and circling the inside, and then when I get back to the dark purple I'm going back to the outside again. So I'm just being very like particular in my colour placement to give that flower impression. So there's, how many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 10. There's 10 flowers left to add. They don't take very long. And also, I think I've decided, bit of fluff on there, I've gone along and put 2 stitches of the cream in the middle where each flower should be centred. But in the pattern, they're all identical. Each flower has the exact same layout of stitches. I've decided to just put 2 stitches in the middle, and then I'm just going to freestyle a rough wonky circle. I kind of like that they're all going to be a little bit different, so you can see it in these 2. One's got those 2 stitches vertical and the other one's got them horizontal, and they're slightly different shapes. I'll be real, that's because I initially miscounted when I did the second one and I couldn't be bothered to undo it, so we're just rolling with it and they're all going to be a little bit freestyle. But that one's coming travelling with me because although it's 22 count, so it is quite small, that doesn't really bother me. We'll come back to small counts in a minute. But it's just the one thread, so it seems silly not to chuck it in and have the option. So that's going in my little travel bag, and again we'll come back to that because there's another new start in there in a minute. So that was bracket 3. We had Lakeside Cabin, which has gone ahead, and you'll see that in the next video. There is Room, and then Okayer. Our final bracket then, which again I'll pop up the vote screen so you can see, we had Selkie, which is a Quaternion Creations, we had my Christmas Crackers project, and then we have my new start of Rainbow Band Sampler, which I am going to show you, partly because it's a new start, but also it's my birthday start, and also it ties in with the Twisted Band Sampler, so it's too much nice alignment to not show you. Firstly though, where is Selkie in this pile? Again, literally, I must have got them out in reverse order. No, I got them out from top to bottom, which means the first one's wrong. I didn't think that through. Lesson learned. So this is Selkie from Quaternion Creations. It's on a piece of Luella's hand-dyed fabric, and it's over 1 on 32 count, so it is quite small. I'm doing this I've decided to make it like a bit of a teal sampler. So far we've used Gentle Arts Mediterranean Sea, which is one of my favourites, this lovely sort of turquoisey teal. I also have in the bag Bejeweled from Classic Colourworks, but I haven't used that one yet. And then we have my first ever Valdani silk. I think it's silk? Cotton. So the Lighthouse is in that Mediterranean Sea colour, and then that piece of seaweed next to it is in Valdani threads. And I'm sure I will gather other teals as we go. But yeah, I enjoy stitching on that one. It's nice to have the Lighthouse finished because it was a very small start prior to this. Yeah, that's one. Number 2 in this bracket is my Christmas Crackers. I'm going to try really hard not to rant about these because I don't want to get into the negativity. I don't love working from the paper version of this pattern, so I've digitized it, but that helped, but also I still needed to look back at the paper patterns. But we have the Angel is now fully finished. These are on 28 count Weeks Dye Works. I cannot remember the colour, I think it might be Mocha. But that should be on the bottom of the screen, hopefully, if Past Jess had her life together. But for this one we added the wings on the angel, her little halo, and the little star in the middle there. So I'm very happy to have that one done. And then on the other half of the same piece of fabric we have the snowman. This one had a bit more to add, the sort of yellow in this band, most of the white. I think the snowman himself was done, but most of the white in this section, and then these top 2 bands. So the only thing left to go on this one is there's 3 heart beads to go in these sort of gaps at the bottom. I now have multiple different types of heart beads and they're all not the right colour. So again, that's something that's coming with me to Stitch Festival, and I will be keeping an eye out for the typical sort of bead shops and button shops that are often there. Sorry, that fabric's a bit warped. To see if I can get one that's like the right size and a dark enough red. A lot of the ones I've got are more like peachy, and they just, I think because the red that's in this is a very like quite a dark Christmassy red, they just look a bit off having like a light peachy colour heart. So I'd rather wait and get the right ones. There are 2 more in this series, a Santa and a gingerbread man. I do have fabric and threads for those, but I think some of what I'm not loving about this is I feel like the fabric's quite like an open weave, and I feel like it makes it hard to make over one look neat. So I think, again, what I'm going to do, maybe at Stitch Fest, I don't really know if there would be this kind of fabric at Stitch Fest. But I might keep an eye out and try and maybe get some even weave in the same count. So the other piece of fabric is like much creamier. Again, I don't know the colour, but hopefully it'll be on the bar at the bottom. So yeah, some like cream beige kind of even weave in 28 count. I'm hoping that will work better. Because much as I love the concept of these designs, I have not loved stitching. It's probably for the best like that they came up in this, because it like I got probably half the snowman done. I just like they wouldn't take long. I feel like I'm saying this a lot, although to be fair I intentionally picked my smaller projects, so there's a reason that these all shouldn't take long because they're all the small ones. But I would like to get that done. I'd like it to be a Jolly July finish, but to do that, I don't want to finish them and hate them. I'd quite like to finish them and be like, yay, I'm glad they're done. I enjoyed some part of stitching them. But yeah, we'll track down some alternative fabric and see if that helps. So the new start for my birthday. So I told myself for the longest time that I wasn't allowed to start this until I finished Twisted Band Sampler, which is the pastel one that you saw a minute ago. But I was very lucky back in December to be at the Itching for Stitching retreat, and Zoe from Paintbox Threads was there. And she mostly, because it's quite a small retreat, there's not much space for vendors, she'd mostly bought like pre-put together kits, or not kits, but like thread packs, so you got like a cool colour palette that all sort of complemented each other. I had a pack of these threads that I got from a de-stash table, so I went along and was like, can I be really awkward? I've got these threads and there's 10 in the set, but I would like an 18 shade colour palette. Are you able to help with that? Like, it doesn't have to be today. Like, if you want to take away the name of the set I've got and see what you can come up with at home. She was like, come with me. We went out to her car and she had like the secret stash of individual colours. So we stood in the car park with a plastic box lid, laying out different colours and swapping them. I think out of the 10 that I took, we only ended up using 4 because there were so many other beautiful colours that worked slightly better in this colour scheme. But yeah, we ended up with a gorgeous, gorgeous set of threads. I'll pop a picture up because I haven't finished like prepping all the threads onto floss drops. In fact, be right back. So sneak peek, there are some of the gorgeous colours, but I will put up the proper picture where I've laid them out in colour order because it does a lot more justice to them. I will say as well, when I laid them out and got them out, there's one shade of blue in there that I had doubts about, so I popped in a last minute order for this darker blue. I think I ordered this after midday and it arrived at like 10 AM the next day. It's incredible service, 100% recommend Paintbox Threads, and Zoe is absolutely lovely. She was so friendly and happy to help when I needed, when I wanted to pick out that colour palette. So yeah, sneak peek of those threads. I am putting these on these gorgeous floss drops. So I've only started on 2 colours so far, but these gorgeous floss drops are from Amy at So Make and Create. We were at a sort of Airbnb weekend away together a couple of weeks ago, and she had very kindly made these beautiful floss drops for everyone, and they are amazing. She laminates one side of them, so it gives them a bit more like staying power, I guess. I have absolutely no concerns that like the paper's going to rip and the card is going to rip and that these threads are going to get lost or tangled. But the other side is just raw paper, so it's very easy to write your thread name on there. I've actually asked her and she's very kindly agreed to make me a custom set. So I'm going to buy those from her, but I've asked for some with a slightly bigger hole purely because these are really chunky threads. The ones that came in my original set of 10 are like half the size, but the full skeins I bought are like 100 meters worth of thread, and I've cut them into 50 centimeter lengths. So there's like 200 threads trying to go through that hole twice each. It's a lot. So she's going to make me some with bigger holes so that they've got a bit more room, but I am obsessed with these, so keep an eye out because I suspect that we will very soon talk Amy into making and selling these. But yeah, they're gorgeous. The threads are gorgeous, the floss drops are gorgeous, the fabric is from Luella's fabric and that's gorgeous. I'm kind of obsessed. So all of that to say, here's my start. I've started in the bottom corner. I don't know why, it's what I felt like. And we finished that first band and we're into those first specialty stitches. I'm obsessed. I'm getting on a lot better with the cross stitch on this one because the threads are pearl cotton. I'm doing them with 1 strand. You get excellent coverage, but you don't have the faff of 2 strands getting tangled or having to get them to lie flat. I love it. And my whole vibe with these, I can't remember if I said earlier, so sorry if this is a repeat, but I'm going to say it again anyway. This one is a pastel rainbow on a dark grey. This one is a dark rainbow on a light grey, and that is very much inspired by Sherry from Just So Sherry. When I first met Sherry 2.5 years ago, I think now, and first started watching her Flosstube, she was working on a pair of projects called Quaker Sisters. I'm not sure who the designer is, but she'd done them light thread on a dark for one and dark thread on a light fabric for the other. And I don't often see stuff and go, I need that. That's coming home with me kind of thing. I'm quite selective about what I buy. I don't want to say I'm quite resistant to enablement because I'm friends with Emma. But for projects, for retreats, I'm very, very influenceable. For projects, I can be quite stubborn and picky. But that was a pair of projects where I was like, I need something in that almost like inverted vibe. And then this is what we've ended up with. Alfie wants to go out. Classic. So I will be right back again. So many project bags.
So many projects.
So many projects. Okay, Alfie's been out and back in. He didn't need to go out. John's been down and out. He's now gone to town. It's all happening. not working. Okay, we're good. Right, that is all of March Madness. This is going to be a really long video. So what else do I have for you? It's not terrible, okay? There's like 4 more projects. So first, let's do Flosstube Frenzy. So there weren't as many projects this month, but also I've not been working on them very much, and you'll see why when I get to the new starts. But what I have done is I think a lot of this was this sort of oranges and yellows down this side. I'm doing this, I don't know, what's a middle term between cross country and extreme cross country? I'm doing it like extreme cross country, but only across the top third of the project. So I think another like 3 or 4 colours got completed. This one is aligned to Rosie from Rosie X Stitches, and I think I owed it like 1,300 stitches, which is quite a lot, but I quite enjoy just smashing through a couple of colours on this and having, I think I did one of these purples as well. But yeah, I'm enjoying chipping away at that. And I've come up with I'm not going to show you that right now. I've adjusted how I've got the threads organised in the bag. So Gecko Rouge threads come on like long A4 length cards, and they do fit in a project bag like this, so I could put the card across the bottom, but the threads are too long, so they kind of either stick out or you have to like stuff them in a bit, or like if you try and put it so the card's at the top and the threads are at the bottom, it's just awkward. What I've done is just cut each card in half, so now I have the card here. I'm not holding that up enough. I have the card here and then have the threads going across, and I'm just finding it a lot easier to manage, and I can just get the card out for the colour that I'm currently using, and it's making this a lot easier to work through. So if you have a Gecko Rouge and you're trying to keep it in an A4 pouch like this, I highly recommend just chopping your thread cards in half so they're half the width, and you can store them this way rather than trying to do them that way. The other Flosstube Frenzy one, which I've started but not finished the Flosstube Frenzy stitch count for, is my big one. I'm just going to show you the bit that's relevant because time. So this is my oldest project. I'm using this for both Whip Go and Flosstube Frenzy. Haven't done any Whip Go on it yet, but I'm hoping to get some done in the next week. But for the Flosstube Frenzy, I'm picking a colour that's in this bottom corner, one of the bigger stitch count numbers. If you want more information about the Whip Go, it's in my past videos. I'm not going to waffle about that every time, but for the colours that aren't included in Whip Go, I'm picking one of the ones from this bottom corner and sort of filling it in. So I think it's this more like, it's one of the blues. It's a dark blue. It's like 3842, I think. So I'm just filling that in this bottom corner. I think I've done about 150 and I need to do 400. So we've got another sort of 250 to go on that one. But like I say, I think that one's coming with me when I travel, because it's temporarily kitted up with my Whip Go colours and my Flosstube Frenzy colour, so it's a nice easy one to just chuck in a project bag, chuck the project bag in my travel bag and have one that's ready to go. So that's that one. Right, new starts. So we've got 2 new starts on top of the other 2 new starts. One of them probably helps to explain next week actually. It was my birthday this week, that's why I started the Twisted Rainbow band sampler. But to celebrate my birthday, I have decided to go to Disneyland Paris. My lovely friend Beth is coming with me, and to sort of have something easy to stitch and to commemorate that trip, I have started this project. So I have customized this. I bought this pattern off Etsy, but it was a bit bigger than I really wanted it to be. So what I've done is put it into my charting software, and then there's a sort of knack, like basically if you change the overall size of the canvas in the charting software, it gives you the option, do you want it to scale your pattern down as well? So although this was a PDF pattern off of Etsy, I've then redigitized it in order to shrink it, and then I've made some refinements to the bits where it kind of shrunk it not quite how I would have wanted. So this is like an Etsy pattern, but I've scaled it down to like 70%. And then you can see I've used heat erasable pen to sort of draw the outline of the design. I tried to do that for the castle and kept making mistakes, and I just got annoyed with it, and I figured it was easier to stitch it. So I've stitched the outline of the twiddly bits of the castle. But this, because it's just 2 colours, I need to pick the red for the bow actually to take with. But for the rest of it, it's just easy block fill in. So it's perfect for like on the flight to Paris, in the evenings, if I want to stitch, like just to unwind at the end of a busy day. In our hotel room, I can just get this out. I don't need a pattern, there's no counting, can't really go wrong. So that's the one. And conveniently, my other travel project, so I've now got cross stitch makes everything okay, I lives in this bag temporarily. We've also got my normal travel project is also just DMC 310, so all I've needed to add is the fabric for this. I've already got my little travel kit with needle and scissors. I've already got my little sort of travel skein of 310. So that's a nice easy one to just pop the extra piece of fabric in the bag. And it's Aida, so I stitch it in hand. Yeah, nice and simple. One little project bag will have my 3 little travel projects in. Nice and compact. That is one of the 2 additional new starts. My other new start has been a bit of a journey, shall we say. This is my 3rd time starting this project, so if you are a regular watcher, you might be able to guess what this is. Although, to be fair, there's a bunch of other projects I've started multiple times, so maybe not. So I'll pop up the overlay so you can see the picture. This is Love by Gecko Rouge. The art is by Aruda Art. And initially, this was my start on 25 count, 10 stitch, 2 strands. I really wanted a 10 stitch project. I've wanted to try it for a while, but I don't enjoy 2 strands. Again, if you've been here for any of my updates this year, this is a running theme. I have very firmly landed on, I don't like 2 strands. So we put this aside and we restarted the same area, 1 strand full cross on 20 count. But I was finding, I feel like it's a bit gappy, and I do other projects 1 strand on 20 count and I love them. Oh, get it in focus. And to be fair, on camera it doesn't look too bad, but I think just because of the amount of dark colours on this, I wasn't completely convinced. Like, looking at it now and looking at it from a distance, I think it would have been fine, but I was kind of disappointed that I gave up on the 10 stitch idea. So I wanted to go back to the idea of 10 stitch, but make it 1 strand. And I didn't really know, I've not really seen many floss tubes where people do that, 1 strand 10 stitch. A lot of people do it 2 strands. I did speak to Jo from Belushi Stitches, and she gave me some advice and essentially said your best bet is to just get some fabrics and try it out, because different people will have different preferences, like your tension will make a difference, that kind of thing. So we started with 32 count. I've had to label them because there were too many fabrics flying around. So, oh, get it in the right place, Jess. So on camera this actually looks kind of good, but in person it's quite gappy. It's very obviously only half the stitch. John actually said that he thinks this would look really cool for like certain projects, like to give almost like a sketched effect, and I actually have an idea for how to use that idea. But for this project I want it to be nice and solid coverage. So this one we didn't like. Technically, I guess if you consider this a start rather than a swatch, this is start number 3. We then tried 36 count, same corner, same bit of the pattern, 36 count. And again, you're all going to be looking at this and going, that looks like perfectly fine coverage, Jess. No, in person it's still quite gappy, and I did not like it. Can I get it close enough that you can see the gaps? No. So on camera that looks absolutely rock solid. In person is not good. We don't like it. So that was start number 4. on this project. And anyone who has any sense of pattern recognition will know where this is going. We're doing it one strand over one 10 stitch on 40 count. We went there. And as you can tell, this one's stuck. Oh, there we go. So I only started this about 10 days ago, and this is now over 7,000 stitches. I am obsessed. March Madness has probably suffered a bit because of this. Because honestly, I pick up a March Madness project and it feels like an obligation because I just want to be working on this. I have been sticking with it though, to like do a bit at least on a March Madness project, like a couple of strands minimum. But every single day, this is what I want to come back to. I love it. I'm going to horrify a lot of you by telling you that I don't use any magnification or glasses. This is just, we're just doing it. I'm happy to acknowledge that I'm very fortunate that my eyesight allows me to do this. And at the stitchy morning this morning, I was working on, because this bit's now just 310. I've done all the sort of odd stitches or surrounding stitches in other colours. So that's nice, easy fill in for a stitchy day that's got lots of like good light. But yeah, I think I was joking with some of the ladies that the one downside is it means I do need to keep up momentum on this to get it done before my eyesight starts going at some point. But yeah, I'm obsessed with it. I absolutely love it. I think Gecko Rouge charting is such good quality. So although there is confetti, there are like scattered stitches. It's not like one stitch here and then one stitch there and one stitch up there. Like, for example, this little area of sort of hints of green. There's a bunch of colours in there that then aren't used anywhere else in this sort of 100 stitch wide column that I'm working on. But every single colour, I've threaded it up and there's been at least 5 to 10 stitches within where like you can easily travel between them, like they're like less than 10 stitches apart from each other. I don't think, other than where I've like used a colour and I've missed a stitch and I've had to go back to do that missed stitch, I don't think I've had to do like any ninja stitches where there's like literally a single stitch of a colour. Every time I threaded my needle with a colour, I've been able to do either use the whole thread, like working up through an area, or I've at least been able to do like a couple of stitches in that colour in the area before I've had to end the thread, because most of the green is sort of over this way. But yeah, I'm obsessed. I love it so much. I think it helps that I started in the bottom corner this time. I did that because this is where the 310 is. I wanted to make sure, because that's like, obviously DMC is notorious for their 310 being a little bit thinner, so if I was looking at coverage, that was the bit that I wanted to test and make sure I was happy with. But I think it helps. I can already sort of see this tree. Obviously with the white gap in the middle, it's a bit harder to see, and some of those colours, like this bottom corner has quite a lot of other colours in it that helps define that tree. I think the lighting is not helping right now. But it helps being able to already see like a distinct thing and like working around the outline of it. Really happy about it. I quite like as well, I've got it on this Siesta mini no-sew frame, which I'm very lucky to have gotten from my local needlework shop, because I don't think these are being made anymore. I think the doweling that's used for the rollers, the guy that makes them has not been able to get more of it apparently. So I'm really lucky because this is like nice and lightweight. I can use this like in my hand. But because of the size of the fabric, I wanted to have it like sideways essentially on the roller bars, which means like shorter roller bars and therefore easier to transport. But it means I'm going to work in columns, which is quite nice because typically this bottom half has more of the like the bright greens and sort of interest, and then the top half is largely sort of dark sky. So it's going to be nice working in columns to have that bit of variety of like tree outlines and some greens versus big dark sky. Sparkly, not literally sparkly, but like twinkly stars scattered throughout it. But yeah, I love it so much. And entertainingly, this, where are we at? Around here is the halfway mark, height wise. So this entire piece, I believe, is going to work out being about the size of a piece of A4 paper. Maybe slightly smaller. Yeah, I'm obsessed. I feel like I've just talked about this a lot, but I just love it. So I suspect this one will be back at the end of the month. I was going to leave it home when I go travelling because the idea of taking a 1/140 count project travelling sounds insane, but I think I'm going to miss it. I think I'm just going to be sad to not have the option. So even if I take it with me and the lighting's not good enough, at least I've given myself the opportunity. So yeah, I think this one's coming on tour of the country with me next week. And I mean, inevitably it's going to get worked on today as well. It's already had some of this black fill in at the stitching morning this morning. Yay! Okay, that's it. That is all the stitching. I feel like there were other things that I intended to talk about. Oh, do you know what? Pause again. Okay, so that is all of my stitching, I think. My sofa looks like a jumble sale. This is going to take me forever to clear up, but we got there. So I have two other exciting things. So we have, I don't know how much I'm allowed to say right now. Basically, next update at the end of the month, I am really excited to be part of a bit of a collaboration to help promote a designer's pattern for Trans Day of Visibility. So I'm really excited. I've received the design and I do plan to start stitching it. I need to do the fabric rummage in my fabric box, but that will definitely be something that I'm starting in the next week or two. I'm really excited to share that with you. So if you are interested in that in particular, definitely make sure you're subscribed and you've done the little notification thing, so that you get the little pop-up to know that video is up, because I think it's well worth coming back for that, if nothing else. And then the last thing, we're going to do the giveaway. Woo! I'm going to do 2 giveaways. So the first is going to be a pattern. So this is one that I finished last year. This is Books Are Magic by Counting Puddles. It is an absolutely gorgeous design. As I said, I finished it, so if you want to have a look, probably my finish parade is the easiest place to go find that, because I can't remember when exactly I finished it. But yeah, it's a really, really lovely one to stitch. It's not got tons of colours. 18. It's got 18 colours. And yeah, I love it. It does have some backstitch, but I think it's so worth it. And I quite like backstitch anyway. So for this one, I would like you to use the word book, and I would like you to tell me, I'm stealing this idea from Stitching with Charlie. She's just hit 1,000 subscribers and is doing a giveaway, so definitely go check her out. Partly because she's a great floss tuber, and also if you'd like to enter her giveaway. But she asked people to use a keyword, but also to like ask her a question so that she can do like a Q&A type session. So I'm going to ask you to use the word book. That is what I will be searching for. But I would also like you to tell me your favourite book. So yeah, I'm in a bit of a reading slump. So give me all your suggestions. I typically do audiobooks, so if it's an audiobook and you recommend it and the narrator has a nice voice, bonus. But yeah, the word book, not books, no S, and your favourite book, please. Thank you. And then I will draw that at the end of the month in my end of March update. The second giveaway is going to be a £10 talking dog stitchery back. Oh, should have said this one open internationally. I will happily post this anywhere in the world because it's quite lightweight. Second giveaway, voucher for talking dog stitchery. This one is going to be UK only because Rachel currently only ships within the UK, I believe. I might be wrong. Hang on. Okay, yeah, I was right. So, talking dog stitchery voucher is UK only, and unfortunately that excludes Northern Ireland. So, mainland, like England, Wales, Scotland only at the moment, is Rachel's shipping range. I know she is looking to expand, but for now, UK only. It's a £10 voucher, and for this one, what do I want you to do for this one? Let's use the word stitch, and I would like you to tell me your favourite colour of thread, like brand and colour. So fancy flosses are fair game, but tell me your favourite colour of thread to stitch with. And again, I will draw that in the next video at the end of March. But for now, thank you for sticking with me. I hope you've enjoyed seeing all my projects, and like I said, I'll be back at the end with the rest of March Madness, with Flosstube Frenzy, Alfie, hopefully with Whip Go, and with that collaboration Trans Day of Visibility project. So, and giveaway winners, of course. So yeah, be sure to come back, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.